guys, welcome back to Journey into Stories. Whoops, there's a lot right there all of a sudden. Today I'm going to be doing a Wip and Chat. Whip stands for work in progress, and chat, I'm just going to say some stories, talk to y'all. I first want to thank any new subscribers that have come to the channel. I really appreciate you. And let's get started. I am still working on Cordon Babe, I think is what she's called. I don't know if it's a real thing that you can get burnout from time to time, but I know I have a certain amount of time I have to get her done in. I single place. I'm not good at multi-placing. I hope to get better, but right now I spend a lot of time just doing the going back and straightening things. My washi's coming apart. So hopefully in the future at some point I will get better. But for right now I'm single placing. This is for a reading video in the future around August, September-ish. I don't think I'll be able to wait till October. I'm really excited to get it done. So let's get started. Still the same pen. I believe Amazon tray. And usually when I'm diamond painting, I like to listen to a book on audio to kind of help get through my TBR. I have started the Bridgerton series, so I'm on book 2 right now, and that's for a future exciting thing that I get to do with meeting the author, Julia Quinn, and that will be in the future, and I hope she is able to sign a book or two or what have you. So I've watched up through season 3, and now I'm going back and reading the books in order that I've collected over the years. So I'm enjoying that. And let's get started. First off, went to the zoo. Got to go to our local zoo within driving distance. It's not too close, not too far, you know. And it was a lot of fun. It was, I believe we went on Saturday. We wanted to make a family day of it. Let me get started. Sorry for the plastic sound. I'm doing this square right here. I love the different red varieties. But anyway, so went to the zoo on Saturday, and like I said, it was supposed to be a family day. At the last minute, our daughter wasn't able to go, and that was a bummer for sure. But did have a lot of fun with our son, you know. I kept teasing him, saying it's like you got mom and dad out of the retirement home, and you know, you busted us out of the place. And you know, he's a lot of fun to be with. They both are kids. I'm really blessed. It was hot. It was 95 with the heat index 103, something like that. And I was able to get a little clip of a video I wanted to get done. I like to go out and about and kind of what I call journey reads, which is whatever I'm reading, if it takes place in a certain location or character wise or whatever, I like to read in truth as much of the book as possible out and about. There have been times I've been able to read the whole book. This last time at the zoo, I knew it was going to be challenging because we're in summer here, and so I read my favorite parts by the character who is an octopus in the book. And that book is Remarkably Bright Creatures. And I just really fell in love with the octopus Marcellus in the book. So that was a lot of fun. Hadn't been to the zoo, and my son figured it had been 6 years. Now, our kids are older. We used to go all the time, when they were young. But, when your kids get older, it's kind of hard to get everybody in one place at the same time. And we almost had that, and last minute again, our daughter wasn't able to attend, which we all missed her greatly. But had fun with the boy, and it was a lot of fun. We saw all the exhibits in the zoo. A lot of the animals were inside. It's like they were smarter than us. They knew it was hotter than hell, literally. And so we did miss on some of the animals, but what was out and about, able to see, we were able to see. So that was a lot of fun. Then on the way home, we got a nice bite to eat for everybody, and it just was a really great day. Sunday, we're still trying to pick the colors of the house, y'all. It shouldn't be this difficult, but I think I'm so tired of the light color that it is from the decades of needing it to be painted and such. So we're still trying to pick the colors. I think we've narrowed it down. I think previous Wip and Chat I said that we have shutters on the house and stone, and I know I want the shutters and possibly the front door to all be the same color, maybe a dark slate gray or black if possible. I love dark colors, even though some say black is not a color. It's my favorite color. I love black, but and then trying to pick the body of the house color. I think we've kind of narrowed it down to a darker version than what we have, but today's Wednesday while I'm recording this. So tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, my husband took vacation time because he has a lot built in that he has to take, and he's also going to take, I believe, when the painters are here, because of the dogs. It's easier, so he won't have to go to the office, because the dogs are going to be a handful for me to get in and out without trying to bother the painters. So, but anyway, tomorrow, Thursday, we have to do some repairs to the siding before they paint, and it's a lot cheaper if my husband does it, so he'll be doing that. I did do some batch recording today because I knew I wanted to spend time with him, and I'm doing a reading vlog on the side that I've barely started, the new Riley Sager book. So, but anyway, diamond painting this. And it's not even that big, and I just feel like it's huge, and it's finding the time dedicated to try and get things done. So I'll probably, if he needs help, he tends to kind of like to work himself, but I will hang out with him when he's not obviously fixing the siding. But in the meantime, I think I'll be able to get some diamond painting done tomorrow also, until he wants to hang out, if he doesn't need my manual labor. I'm pretty good at carrying things and handing things, and here, you need to drink, and kind of pester him a little, but that's okay. Otherwise, he'll forget to do that type stuff. So, but the zoo was a lot of fun. My son did say something funny. He figured it had been 6 years, and he goes, "I'm good for the next 6 years." And so, it's a date in the future, and we did buy an extra ticket, thinking my daughter was going to be able to go, and we still have that. It's good for 60 days. So maybe, if she can go sooner, then I'll talk my son into going sooner too. But as of now, he said I'm good for the next 6 years. It was a hot one for sure. Let's see. I did do something kind of fun. I was running some errands, and I ran into a individual that I know, and she was talking to one of the workers that she knew. And hang on, let me get a little more wax. Long story short, she started talking about Sicily, and she's scared to fly places. Her husband's scared to fly. She said they're in their 70s, and they're both scared to fly. I can relate to that. I really can. And she said, but they've always wanted to go to Sicily, where their families originate. And we just got to talking, and she was very nice Italian woman. And I said, we went to Italy back in 2016. 2016? Whoops, that's upside down. Yeah, 2016. And we didn't go to Sicily, but we had some other stops. We did a Disney cruise, which I'm a huge lover of Disney. I love to collect it. I love to go. Walt Disney World, we went for our Disney moon when my husband and I got married. When I was a kid, it was the first trip we ever went to. I just love Disney, and I have for a long time. So we got to talking, and I said, one of my grandparents is Sicilian. Now, I think I said my grandfather, but the more I think about it, I think it was actually my grandmother. They're both full-blooded Italian, both of my grandparents, and or maybe both were from Sicily. I don't really know, to be honest. I can't remember. And of course, they've passed. And my mom, who would know the information, is no longer here. But anyway, I said, if you can overcome the fear, which it's a big deal flying, if you have a fear, but if you could overcome it, you really ought to try and go. It was amazing, our trip with the kids and my husband, and we had stops throughout Europe, but she said, I don't think I can. And we started talking. She goes, I would pack too much. I don't, it's been forever. I haven't flown since 9/11. And I said, oh, that's a while, and she goes, we drive everywhere. And I said, I understand. And I said, speaking of, she said, I haven't, I know the rules are different and everything, but I haven't had to deal with those yet because I haven't flown or anything since then. I said, well, something funny about that. My mother used to fly for her company. She was in sales, and some of her big bosses lived in Chicago, and she would do like the Ace Hardware show and different type shows and sell. She once, her main accounts that she sold things was KitchenAid mixers and KitchenAid, Proctor Silex, all of that. But I said, when she used to go to Chicago, she would like to feed all of her bosses there. And I said, and the lady just kind of looked at me, And I said, she used to carry on board the biggest gallon pot I don't know that she had in her kitchen, and she used to love to bring him sugu. And she goes, "Oh yes, sugu." And the mutual friend of ours kind of looked, and the Italian lady said that's sauce, but in Italian we call it sugu. And I said, yeah, we don't even call it pasta. We call it basta with the B, basta with the sugu. And it was funny because I said she would carry on back in the day this big gallon pot of basically spaghetti sauce, but sugu, with the meatballs and the Italian sausage and everything. And she would feed everybody. I said, of course, now there's no way. It's whatever it is, 3 ounces and less liquid or whatever. And she used to carry on the flight, and hold the pot of sugu. And just times have changed. And then I kind of went down a rabbit hole. The lady was nice. She said, "Oh, so what's your maiden name?" I said, "Well, my dad wasn't Italian, but I'll tell you my mom and my grandmother and my grandfather." And I gave her about, I went back in time five names, okay? And I had more. Well, she said, "Well, my maiden name is this, and my husband's name is this." And of course I knew the husband's name, but not in the nicest way, and I didn't say anything. But growing up, I always knew so and so this, and it's not a nice version of this name. And so, but I said, "Oh no, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure in the background we know something." And anyway, she goes, "Well, honey, it was nice to meet you. You're a sweetie." Gave me a kiss on the cheek, like, my aunts would, and that'd be all. So that was fun. But so I went down this rabbit hole, and I thought, I've missed my mom's cooking for so long. She was such an amazing cook that when my husband and I got married, again, she used to like to feed everybody. Okay, so the priest that lived up the street from us, my mother would feed every Sunday. She'd have a big meal, of course. And my grandmother lived with us. She had an apartment in the basement. That when we built the house, we built her own apartment. And so I grew up real close with my grandmother. This is after my grandfather passed away. And so Momo lived in the basement, and so we'd have these big meals, a couple times a week, but mainly Sundays. It was an open invitation, whoever wanted to come. And this is while I lived at home. Then when I moved out, when my brother moved out, we still would always find our way back home on Sundays with our kids and everything. And my mom just loved to cook. Well, and she was a fabulous cook. So it was kind of funny when my husband and I got married, the priest, my mother, whenever she'd make the meal for a Sunday dinner, she would have somebody drive it up to the rectory, where the priest lived, and give him the food, and then he'd give back the dishes cleaned from the week before or whatever. And so when we got married, again, this is only the third time I've said this statement, made a comment something like, "Well, if Steph is as good a cook as her mother, I'll just call my husband Boo. Boo, you're in good hands, And it's no secret, I'm not a good cook. I'm not a good cook at all. I have a few things that I can make, but my husband is the good cook. But to this day, I still, love to make sure our kids are fed, being grown adults on their own and everything. I it's so important to me. They're always fed, and that, even if we're just going through a drive-through like Saturday after the zoo, there's something inside me that has a lot of, like happiness. And food was always around, and I associate a lot with food. But I like to always make sure my kids are fed, they got food, which we like to take them to the grocery store when we can and they're available. But I always like the feeling of them being fed. And I know I got that from my mom, but the cooking ability, no. I like to bake. I can bake, but I used to bake cakes and everything. And I thought at one time I wanted to be the next cake boss. And I took a class at Michael's craft store to learn to decorate cakes. And yeah, that didn't work. I had no patience for that. I mean, my cakes are always ugly, but they sure taste good, So, but anyway, I went down the rabbit hole of talking about my mom and bringing Sugu on the plane and everything. And when I got home, I thought, it's been a long time since I've made meatballs. Now, when I would make meatballs, I would go to my mom's, and for, I'd say, a period of a couple of years, maybe not that long. I mean, everybody loved her food. So we thought, well, wouldn't it be fun to kind of make food and sell it, to friends of the family, whoever knows of my mom. And, if we could probably sell the sugu with the meatballs. And we didn't really do the Italian sausage part because that got kind of pricey. And, but my mom made the most incredible meatballs, and then the sugu. Now, her sugu was a little sweeter than my grandmother's, but I did like, my grandmother was an amazing cook too, but I liked my mother's sugu better. So maybe it was like a year and a half, 2 years. I don't remember, and we didn't do it huge often, but we would make a couple of batches of meatballs and with the sugu, and then we'd sell it in containers that, I don't know where they got the containers, to be honest. I think a neighbor had them through their restaurant. And we had a whole list. My brother even helped with the marketing aspect of it, which was kind of neat. So I would go over there on like a Friday, and we'd make all the meatballs up, and I would be at the table with my grandmother, or Momo. We just call her Momo, Nemo or Momo. And she'd be teaching me the correct way to do garlic and, everything. And then I'd fry up the meatballs with my mom while we'd make the sugu, and the sugu would take all day. And it'd be a couple of batches, and then we'd put it in the containers. And my brother was in charge of the mailing list, we called it, but we had stickers, and we made a label of my mom's name and everything. And at one time I thought, God, we could even, I mean, and it would sell out really quick. Now, this was friends of friends, some family that would buy it. And believe me, it was cheaper than what it should have been. The time and everything spent and the amazingness of it all. But we always had a waiting list of wanting it. And I used to tell her, I bet we could go to grocery stores and do this. And then, I could work on the samples, give people samples and stuff. And we were looking into all of this. And then, like life will throw you curveballs, it did. So, sometimes I still think I got the recipe. Now I haven't made them myself. I don't think ever, maybe once, because my mom always did it, and I got spoiled. But it's like, God, it's been 8 years, and there's so much more that I miss than my mother's cooking. But sometimes when you're hungry, you just want a fried meatball sandwich with the sugu to dip the bread with the meatballs, and I'm getting hungry now. But so I don't know, maybe I say something to my brother if he'd be interested in doing that. He's so busy with his own life, and I don't know, maybe I should just try and make a batch of meatballs. But it was so much in we had it figured out how many meatballs per batch per, and so I would have to deal it down a lot. But I just thought that would be fun. And about 2 years ago, I found myself at Michael's, or maybe it was Joann's. It wasn't Hobby Lobby. I think it was actually Joann's. And I love planners. Am I good at doing planners? No, I'm good at my wall calendar. But I have the stickers. They're just right over here. I have a little card of stickers, and I think it's kind of reminds me of scrapbooking, only, this is my to-do, my life, whatever. But I love the little planners that they have. Happy Planner, I think it was, that I ended up buying in the cookbook form. And for one Christmas, I filled out some recipes of my mother and my grandmother, Momo. Now, I wish I had recipes of my Grammy. I know she was really good at like biscuits and gravy, and my dad still goes on and on about that, and she did more country cooking, which is delicious. But I do have recipes written down from my Momo and my mother, just that they had in their recipe books. And I found a really old, I think part of it is even in Italian, cookbook, and I keep it on top of my fridge with my mother's KitchenAid mixer that I swear, if it wasn't running 3 times a day, then she was sick. She made chocolate chip cookies with it. She made everything with her KitchenAid mixer, and like I said, she used to sell them. And she has like the original, and so I have that on top of my fridge with some of the cookbooks of Momo and my mom's, and I don't know, and then a little statue thing that she had in her kitchen. It's kind of I look there and think of both of them. But yeah, and I would say, if you have old recipes, it's really a nice little gift. I mean, I had it kind of as a stocking stuffer surprise thing for my kids, and I don't know how much they've used it, but they have it if they want. They got Momo's biscotti recipe. They got all kinds of things. She was good at her chicken noodle soup, her waffles, and then my mom had her specialties. And so I wrote them, and where I could, took pictures and had my husband print them, and it's in their writing. It's a copy of their writing, or just made copies of what they wrote. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of a creative type of gift, because I think I talked in the last video about Father's Day. I'm not the best gift giver, but I really thought that I hit it out of the park with that one. And it's got the homemade type thing, and it took a long time to fill out, and I still didn't fill it out completely. And then I added a few of my 5 or 6 good recipes. And my husband, but my husband though, he's the cook. He's the good one. And so that's fun if you're ever looking for anything for a gift for somebody. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask, do you have your mother's recipe for this? And sometimes if I can, I'll go looking, because I have all of her special things in a safe, thinking if there's ever a fire or whatever, I don't want to lose some of that stuff. So I don't know, that just, but I think that cookbook, what we did fill out, took a couple of months easily. And I just, hopefully they'll use it at some point, or just to have it and say, I have recipes from my grandmother and my great grandmother, because the kids were close with both of them. So, and I don't know, trying to think. Diamond Art Club wise. Oh, I was going to talk about how I got started diamond painting. I don't think I ever mentioned that, and I think this is the third video I've done. I thought I somehow found it, and I think it was an ad in Facebook or something. I don't remember exactly that part of it. But somehow I stumbled across diamond painting, okay? And I thought, well, that looks like a lot of fun, And I watched some of my YouTubers that I still watch today talk about how they do it, and tips and tricks and things like that. And I thought, that looks like a lot of fun. My only thing was, what do you do with them when they're done? I mean, and yes, you can frame them, you can display them in portfolios, things like that. But I'm like, well, I don't have room to frame them if I go deep with this hobby. Hang on, number 12, I gotta find. And so I need to think this through, because I could see how this could add up, in space and everything. And so I want to say, I found a loose one somewhere. I want to say I watched videos maybe a year in advance to try and figure out, what do you do with them when you're done? There's only so many that people in my life would want. If I get it done, I'm not gonna, here's another one, unless somebody wants it, I suppose. And I have certain ones I want to do for my kids, and I did do one for my husband. It's cute. It's a Marvin the Martian, and it's kind of a running joke that when we were first dating and he got his first technically real career type job, he used to watch the cartoon Marvin the Martian, and somewhere I found him a little statue of him. Well, it's gone with him at every job, career, office he's had. And a couple months ago, I was doing what you tend to do, shopping on Diamond Art Club or any of the diamond art shops. I want to try from all of them, but I found Marvin the Martian. I thought, oh my God, that's perfect. And I bought that, and I tried to keep it secret, and that's hard to do, But when I showed him, he's like, wow, that's really cool. And so I got it done super fast, unlike this one, and framed it, and it's hanging in his office here, in his home office. And I don't know. And I've gotten one done for my daughter that I found that looked like her cat. And I have a big one that I want to do for my son. And that'll take me a while. And so I don't know, but my husband was out of town, and I think it was last June or a little before, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how long I've been doing this, year and a half. I think right at a year, maybe not. But I was at Michael's, and I'm like, I think I'm going to try it. I've watched the videos long enough, and I just think I want to try this and see if I like it, And I didn't know about any of the diamond art shops, except I was at Michael's and I came across them in the aisle, and I'm like, well, this looks cute. And I got a little one that looked like a desert with the sun set, and maybe it had a cactus, maybe not, but it was like kind of a rainbow sunset, rows of the same color, different color, and it's not very big. And I got that done within 2 days, which was fast, my first one. And I'm like, God, this is addictive. And the other one I bought was a Christmas village that they had, and I'm like, I don't feel in the mood to do that yet, but I'll go back, or I'm gonna look this up and see where people buy these. And then I found Diamond Art Club, and I've never looked back. I love it. I love Diamond Art Club. Then I've found paint gems. I love little paint gems. Jada Gem Shop. There's a lot in my pictures that I want, because I like some of the artwork that looks like Disney princesses. And then I'm constantly hearing about a new diamond art shop and diamond painting shop, and I'm like, well, I just want to kind of try them all, just like the accessories, I think it's wonderful. But when I started this, I've never looked back. Now, the few that I've finished, I think I've only framed one, and it's a Halloween type one, and I'm going to frame this one. But a couple of the other ones I've just put back in my box, because I'm like, I don't have a portfolio thing, and so I just wrapped it back up and put it in my box. But so that's kind of how I got started, and it's just, I love it, It's a lot of fun. Somebody I've grown up with just started diamond painting, and she's enjoying it too, so that's good. I told her, I said, it's a wonderful community, and she's like, well, I need to kind of learn more about it. And I said, well, that's what YouTube videos are for. I mean, not mine, but others. They've helped me anytime I've had a question. It seems like I can find the answer on YouTube from one of the creators, or the Facebook groups, so I kind of steered her in that way. But it's been a while since I've bought anything. I think the last diamond painting I bought was the Cozy Cabin and the Jetsons. And the Jetsons was my childhood. Also the Flintstones. I do have all of the little Flintstone canvases, except the one with all of them. But I have a notify me request in for that, because I thought it'd be neat with all of them. And then I have a lot of just variety. I really love Mandy Manzano, Randall Spangler. I was able to meet him at a library a couple of months ago. And let's see what else. Oh, Hannah Lynn. I have some Hannah Lynn's. And then I have odds and end pieces, one or two from an author. Oh my goodness. An artist. And I don't know. I do have quite a few on my wish list. Seems like that's growing always, just like my books. Books and diamond painting. They always tend to be growing more and more. So, and trying to think of what I have. I did see on the news we had bad weather here, and of course, when it's in the middle of the night, it kind of messes with your sleep schedule. And I'm like, okay, I got to watch the weather because I got to notify the kids and my dad and, us. And there's tornadoes, tornadoes are a real deal. My mom's house got hit with a tornado several years ago. My dad went through a tornado when he was in high school, a significant one. My husband's been through a tornado in elementary school. And it's like, God, it seems like we always, knock on wood, dodge a bullet. Sorry if it shook the camera. But I'm terrified of tornadoes. I've seen what the devastation could be, and they just really affect me, like I've been through one, but I've never been through one, thank God. But so the weather turned kind of bad in the middle of the night, and they kept changing it. Now, one of the weather people, I don't know who he is, but I felt like he was maybe hyping it up a little bit more. And the reason I say that, and I'm not a weather person, nor do I claim to be, but one of the local channels will always be on if there's any chance of possibility of bad things. And this channel, I was just flipping through all the local channels, seeing what was scrolling, seeing who was on, who was talking about it. Do I have to notify people? Because, it's the middle of the night. It's scary. I mean, it's always scary with bad weather, but you can't just look out the window and see things. It's the middle of the night. So the winds, I think, were like 60, 65 miles an hour. The weatherman, originally said no hail, then hail up to quarter size, which, is nothing for it to be baseball, softball size, with bad weather. So, and then he started saying, you should get away from the windows. And that's like, okay, I'm going to have to call people. It's 2:30 in the morning, and originally it was going to be till 3. I'm like, but you want to call people, notify them, but you hate to in case it's not going to happen, but better safe than sorry. But then, I kept flipping the channels and nobody else is on saying anything. And then I go back to CBS and he's like, oh my God, if you have windows, go at least to your hallway or interior house with no windows. And I'm like, what is he predicting here? Because nobody else is on, and that's hyping me up more. And I mean, it's scary, and thank God nothing happened. And, I ended up not reaching out to the kids or anything, because it's like, it's not saying tornadoes on any of the stations, but it's scary. And they're predicting all kinds of other things. And we have a lot of trees, and I always worry, well, if we don't have a tornado, is a tree going to go through the house? That's scary too. And so I don't know. I'm just a worrywart. But so watching the weather for a couple hours in the middle of the night, and then you can't sleep, and you're all pumped up, and then I find myself going downstairs to eat a bowl of cereal, and it's like, well, this isn't good to do. But then my whole point is, one of the bigger stations, not local but national news, in the middle of the night, they showed Celine Dion, and I love her. I absolutely love her. Power of Love, that was my husband and I's wedding song. And I love her. And I was blessed. I don't know what year she came here on tour, but we were able to get tickets for my husband and I. The kids didn't want to go, you know. And my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law, we were able to take all three of them. Now we had yucky seats, but you know what? Just to be in that place with her singing, just close your eyes. There's not a bad seat in the house. You're hearing her live. But I saw that, and I'm probably old to this. I'm sure most people know this, but I knew she was having some health difficulties, and they showed her on one of the national stations, and I guess she has come out with a documentary on what she's been going through. And just seeing the few minutes that they showed, it brought tears to my eyes. I started crying, and so I'm gonna have to check that out. I think they said it's on Prime, Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken. And we have that, and so I'm gonna try and watch that. I still wear my Celine Dion concert t-shirt, proud. And I just love her. I mean, I have a few favorites, and individually speaking, for a singer, she is my favorite. Now I have favorite bands. Bon Jovi nobody will be better than Bon Jovi ever, but for individual singers, it will always be Celine Dion. And in fact, the preview of her coming on, it was Power of Love. And of course I nudged my husband. He was in and out of sleep because of the bad weather and storms that were happening, but I said that it's our wedding song, and to this day it just brings tears to my eyes. Power of Love. It's a good one, so I'm gonna have to watch that documentary sooner than later for sure. I'm trying to think. I did write a few notes to remember to say, but I think that's it. I think in the upcoming week, hopefully we can see the kids. I don't know what we're going to do on date night. Gosh, I would love if anybody wanted to give comments or respond. What's good date night or date day? Pressure's on. I mean, tomorrow he'll be fixing the siding, like I said, but he's pretty fast, so I don't know what you do. Seems like we always do the same stuff. Every Friday night we try and get a bite to eat or something just for fun. And I always can watch movies or whatever. He likes to do things more often though. He loves to antique. Maybe we could go antiquing. I think of that episode of Supernatural, but I mean, I don't know. It should be fun. I think Friday night is going to be bad weather though, so maybe, I don't know. Again, I don't know how long it'll take him to do things, but if you have fun date night ideas, put them in the comments. If you want, you don't have to, but I just like different ideas. There's a book that a friend told me about on Amazon, something like dating experiences or God, I don't know. I mean, I have fun with him just sitting on a Sunday morning talking. You know, I always have fun with him. But sometimes different type things are neat. I might buy that book just to, sometimes spice up what to do or whatever. But it's always fun hanging with him. He was supposed to just have tomorrow off, and I thought, well, that's weird. Originally, we were going to go to the zoo tomorrow, but then I'm like, well, it's better for the kids if we go on the weekend. So because we went on the weekend, he had tomorrow off anyway, and I'm like, well, that's weird. Thursday, maybe switch it to Friday. Oh boy, I feel a sneeze. The allergies are real. Move it to Friday, if you want. And he goes, no, I took Friday off too. And that was a surprise. I'm like, oh, you did? That was exciting. So I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what movies are out. There's a lot of small towns around us that are fun to go to and go do things, and I don't know. If it wasn't so darn hot, I've seen places to hike. Now, I've always said, oh, I want to go hiking. I see all these amazing people going on these hikes. Well, there's not many places that I know of that you can hike around us. But I'm like, I want to go on a hike. I want to go on a hike. Well, he looked it up last summer and he took me on one. I'm like, this sucks. This is horrible. And I think all I did was complain. It's like, well, you're never going to want to take me on one again. And we don't have really mountains, but everybody had mountains, and there was a thrill, and there were creeks and rivers and different things. And I'm like, this is a boring hike. We're going to get chiggers. The grass is up to our knees. We're going to be, somebody's going to get us. And he goes, well, you're supposed to enjoy this. You said you wanted to do this. Yeah, but I want to do a neat hike, like at a national park or something. So, I don't know. But the one we were at, it's like, oh, this isn't very fun. And he would have had a blast anywhere, but and I said, no, we'll keep doing it. And he goes, no, we don't have to. But I mean, I thought it would be a little more exciting, but because of location where we live, what can you expect? I would love to live with an ocean. That's my favorite outside of Disney World, but oh well. So I hope that whatever you did, if you did a hobby alongside me, I hope you got more progress done than me. I'm a little cackadoony, talk, a little bit of a talker, but I hope you have a great day. I'll just stop it here. I don't really have anything else that's gone on. I could make up stuff, but what's the fun in that, So I hope whatever you're working on, whether it's a craft or, reading a book, listening to a book, great audio book, I hope you're doing well. Again, thank you to any subscribers that have subscribed. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. It's taken me a while to do YouTube. I've thought about it for quite a bit. And I haven't even been brave enough to tell family besides my husband and kids. So, but I am thankful to you all, So thank you very, very much. And I will see you in the next Wip and Chat. I'm going to try and do these once a week. And if you're not interested in diamond painting, that's okay. It's more storytelling, and then I'm trying to get through this diamond painting. So I hope you all, again, have a great day and be kind to yourself and one another. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. Have a great one. God, I got to get better at that. I'm shaking the camera every time. All right, bye. Thank you. Have a great one.